There was a very interesting moment for me last week when I realized the season is over. What season is that? Actually, the season that's gone all the way from Elul to Rosh Hashanah, the 10 days of return, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and 4 B'nai Mitzvah. And then suddenly we're in Cheshvan and there are no festivals. And suddenly that season, that really intense, really exciting, really powerful season has come to an end. We start to prepare for Hanukkah. So the question for every rabbi at this point is, what now? And a number of rabbis take a pause at this time, take some weeks off. But with Thanksgiving coming up, I may well do that then instead. And so what are we doing? We're focusing on education. And I wanted to share something very exciting with you. For a number of months, we've been discussing how we transform our education, and we've been working with Shelley, the director of our religious school, who's really been bringing so many young people back and so many families back into our religious school. And we've been using a program called Hineni, which gives rewards, gives kochavim, little stars, as the students learn how to do things. And there's another program which I ran many years ago in my other community, which I have updated, and we're now introducing this coming Sunday. And I wanted to share it with you because it's so exciting, and because people often don't know what's happening in our religious school. And so Discoveries is a program in which, instead of frontal learning in terms of classroom, the teacher and then the student sitting in front of them, we have an array of modules, and all the students come together in our social hall and they pick the modules, they look at all the modules, they see which ones interest them, and then they find other students who have picked the same topic and they go and study it together. The students can study privately. Better, though, is if they study in chavruta, in this pairs system, which is a very traditional Jewish way of learning, where you read out loud and reflect and learn off each other. Or they can learn in groups of different ages. And that's really important because it's giving them variety of learning. And of course, it's giving them ownership of the topics. They can choose what it is that they learn from the choices that we give them. And at the moment, this coming Sunday, we're starting our Discoveries program, and we have 4 modules which we're going to be sharing with our students and which they're going to pick from. The first one is about from the Birchat HaShachar, from the morning blessings, particularly the blessings celebrating, otherwise known as the Nisim B'chol Yom, the miracles of every day. And what does that mean for us? What do miracles mean? And how has this liturgy changed? For example, the traditional version includes a prayer that says, "Thank you, God, Shelo Asani Isha, who has not made me a woman." And Orthodox communities still use that prayer. In Reform Judaism, we thank God who has made me B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of God. And so the students explore how that liturgy has developed. And then at the end, they write their own prayer based on what they're thankful for and the miracles in their lives. Another one, more biblically based, is on the daughters of Tzlofachad, a fascinating story of 5 women in Torah, and it appears twice in Torah, in Numbers 27 and in Numbers 36. And the students are encouraged to open up Torah and to have a look and to compare these stories. Why are the daughters' names mentioned differently, in a different order, between these 2 stories? And at the end, they make a play or they draw a picture. It's a lot of fun. Another biblical-based one is this one, Burn, Baby, Burn. This is about Moses and the revelation at the burning bush, that call from God to Moses. Why a burning bush? Why a thorn bush? And so this looks at that question, and the idea is to introduce the students to Midrash, to rabbinic commentary. And they're very interesting commentaries. One, for example, says, you ask the question, why did God reveal from a thorn bush? But if you'd have said any other bush, you would have asked the same question. And in other words, it's a nice rabbinic answer to say the question is always going to be asked, why does God appear here? But then, instead of that rather dismissive answer, the rabbi goes on to give an actual answer. And so the idea behind this module is to help students start to explore rabbinic commentary as well. And finally, a bit of ethics and history, science and religion, friends or foes. And we look, and I think I have a fair understanding of this. as an astrophysicist and a rabbi. And so we look at what is the purpose of science and what is the purpose of religion. Is there, in the relationship between them, is there conflict? Is there independence? Is there dialogue? Is there unity? And then we look at the heliocentric or geocentric models. The heliocentric model is the one suggested by Copernicus that said that the sun is at the center of the universe, or at least, at the very least, of the solar system. The geocentric model is the one that says that the earth is at the center. And so we encourage students in this module to look in Psalm 93 and Psalm 96 and other places, First Book of Chronicles, Ecclesiastes, to ask, does the Bible think the earth is in the middle of the solar system, or does it think the sun goes round the earth? And why is this important? Because there is a wonderful Talmud text which is included in this booklet. It's from Pesachim 94b, where the church during the Inquisition turned round and said, the earth is at the center of everything, and Galileo, following Copernicus, you are wrong, and put Galileo on house arrest for the rest of his life. In fact, in Talmud, Pesachim 94b, the rabbis look at the sages of the non-Jewish sages and the Jewish sages, and they say the non-Jewish sages may well be correct and change their perspective. And so it shows a really interesting reflection on how we can approach religion and science, how we can be in conflict or we can learn from each other. And so the idea behind these modules is to help a different form of learning. And for me, this is very exciting. I ran this, as I said, in my previous community, and it was unbelievably successful. It allows students a lot more variety, a different way of learning, connecting with each other, and particularly starts these bonds of chavruta, these pairing bonds, so that they can have someone who they work with on other projects as well. And so in the future, when we go back to each Discoveries program, they might turn to the person they paired with before and say, shall we do this module? And they sit down, read it out loud, and work on it together. It's very exciting, and I wanted to share it with you to show how much our education is developing, particularly our education for our young people. And this is absolutely why we have so many people coming back to our religious school and enjoying it and learning so much more than they have been for years. It's very exciting, and if you know any families, find out from them if they were able to, if their kids were able to participate in Discoveries this weekend, and see what reaction you get. And talking of young people, we have our tot service this evening. I really encourage you to join us at 5:30. That's for our very young people. And then we have our main service, our main Kabbalat Shabbat service. Tomorrow, we have our conservative minyan. And I really do appreciate how much our community is enlarging our spiritual offerings. We have Torah study first, by the way, I should mention that. Torah study is on the angels who visit Abraham, and he offers them food. Do angels eat food? The rabbis ask this and many other questions about this meal, and it's fascinating to explore. And then our conservative service, which just shows how much we're broadening our spiritual offerings and trying to be able to be a place of prayer for as many people as possible. So I do hope you'll be able to join us this evening and or tomorrow, and I do wish you Shabbat Shalom.